If you're running a limited company in the UK, you've probably asked yourself, am I leaving money on the table for HMRC? Well, you're in the right place. We're about to break down the 20 essential tax allowable expenses for the 2025/26 tax year. And this whole session is brought to you with guidance from the experts at Pro Tax Accountant. Let's get right into it. So let's start with the big one, the question that keeps so many business owners up at night. Are you paying more tax than you absolutely have to? It's a real fear, but understanding what you can claim is the #1 way to make sure you only pay what you owe and not a single penny more. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through exactly how you can use these allowable expenses to legally and pretty effectively bring down your corporation tax bill. And because this is all based on expert insights from Pro Tax Accountant, you know you're in safe hands. Okay, to see why this matters so much, you've got to look at the numbers. For the 2025/26 tax year, if your profits are up to £50,000, you're taxed at 19%. But for profits over $250,000, that jumps up to 25%. So here's the key takeaway. Every single pound you claim as a legitimate expense is a pound that isn't taxed at these rates. It's a direct saving right there. Now, before we dive headfirst into our big list of expenses, we need to get our heads around one thing. It's the golden rule that governs everything else we're about to talk about. It's the wholly and exclusively principle. Nail this, and you've basically unlocked all your potential tax savings. So what on earth does that actually mean? Honestly, it's pretty simple. A cost has to be incurred 100% for your business. Let's imagine Elowen, a freelance graphic designer in London. Her Adobe software subscription? That's fully deductible. It's 100% for her client projects. But what if she uses it, say, 20% of the time for personal stuff like making birthday cards for her family? Well, in that case, she can only claim 80% of the cost. You just have to split it or apportion it, and you've got to keep a little note of how you work that out. And here are some really clear-cut examples to make it stick. That Adobe subscription for our designer? A big yes. A mobile phone contract that's only for business calls? Absolutely. But your personal gym membership? Even if you argue it helps you de-stress for work? Nope. Or your daily train ticket to get to your main office? HMRC sees those as personal life choices, so they're a definite no-go. All right, with that golden rule locked in, let's get to the main event. This is your tax-saving toolkit. We've broken down the 20 most common allowable expenses into 4 nice and simple categories. First up, we've got office costs. This is really the bread and butter of running your company, right? We're talking about all the obvious stuff like pens, paper, and printer ink, but also the business use part of your phone and internet bills. Don't forget postage and courier fees. And of course, the big ticket items, any equipment like your laptop, your monitors, or even that fancy ergonomic desk, all claimable. Plus, the cost of running your office from home. And speaking of home offices, here's a fantastic pro tip. You've basically got 2 choices. There's the super easy route, a flat £6 per week claim. HMRC doesn't even ask for receipts for that. Or, if you don't mind a little bit of admin, you can calculate a fair percentage of your actual household bills. Things like your heating, your electricity, even your rent. This method often adds up to a much bigger, more accurate deduction. Okay, next up, travel and subsistence. Now, the magic words here are for business. This is not about your daily commute to work. We're talking about things like mileage when you use your own car to visit a client, or public transport fares like a train ticket to go to a conference. Parking fees and road tolls you have to pay for those journeys also count. And if a business trip means you have to stay overnight, you can claim for reasonable meal costs. That's what subsistence is, and of course, the hotel bill itself. And hey, if you're using your personal car, these are the official HMRC rates for 2025/26. It's a pretty generous 45 pence a mile for the first 10,000 business miles you do in a car or van. It's a brilliant, tax-efficient way to pay yourself back. But, and this is crucial, you absolutely must keep a detailed log of your mileage. A simple spreadsheet or a phone app could literally save you thousands of pounds a year. It's a non-negotiable. Moving on to category 3, employee costs. This one is a biggie. It obviously covers salaries and wages for your staff and for you as a director. It also includes pension contributions your company makes, which is a massive one we'll touch on in a sec. Any money spent on relevant professional training to help your team get better at their jobs is also deductible. Then there's this neat little thing called trivial benefits. Think small gifts like a birthday present or a team lunch, as long as it costs less than 50 quid per person. And finally, you can claim for work-related eye tests for anyone who's staring at a screen all day. Let's just pause on pensions for a second because this number is huge. For the 2025/26 tax year, your company can put up to a massive £60,000 into a pension for an employee or director and claim full corporation tax relief on that amount. Genuinely, this is one of the most tax-efficient ways to get profit out of your limited company. It's a game changer. And finally, our fourth and final category, professional and other costs. This covers things like the fees you pay your accountant, like pro tax accountant, to do your books and your tax return. Any essential legal advice fits in here too. Subscriptions to professional organizations or trade magazines that are relevant to what you do, claimable. This also covers more specific situations, like writing off a bad debt when a client unfortunately can't pay you, or even sponsoring a local football team to get your company's name out there. Okay, so now we know what we can claim. But it's just as important to know how to claim it, so you stay on the right side of HMRC and avoid any of those stressful letters. Let's cover the rules you absolutely can't afford to ignore. The process is actually really straightforward if you just stay disciplined. Step 1, track everything. Use apps, keep digital receipts, make logs. Step 2, categorize those costs properly. Then you calculate your final deductions and you pop them onto your CT-600 form, which is your company's official tax return. And the final golden rule, keep all your business records for at least 6 years after the end of the tax year. Don't forget that one. Right, a quick but very important warning about the most common mistakes people make. Client entertainment is a huge one. Taking a client out for a fancy meal to schmooze them is not a deductible expense. Now, staff entertainment like a Christmas party can be, but there are specific rules and limits. And like we said before, your daily commute and your normal clothes, even if it's a suit you only wear for work, are completely off limits. And here is exactly why that 6-year record-keeping rule is so critical. HMRC can and does look back that far. This isn't just some made-up threat. In 2023, a real-life consultancy in Leeds had to pay an extra £8,000 in tax and penalties, all because they couldn't find the mileage logs to prove their travel claims. Just imagine that. Don't let it happen to you. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, and having this toolkit is a massive step forward. But, navigating all the little details and making absolutely sure you're maximizing every claim, well, that can still be pretty complex. So, what's the smartest next step you can take? Look, if you want to be totally certain that you are claiming every single penny you're legally entitled to, and you want that amazing peace of mind that comes from knowing you are 100% compliant, then getting some expert help is probably the smartest investment you can make. The team at Pro Tax Accountant lives and breathes this stuff for limited companies. And the best part is, they've made it super easy to get in touch. You can ping them a message on WhatsApp or just give them a call on 079-856-89912. Or, if you prefer, just drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk to have a chat about how they can help your business thrive.
And finally, if you found this breakdown helpful, guess what? There's plenty more where that came from. Just head over to YouTube, search for Pro Tax Accountant, and hit that subscribe button to stay informed and save money. Thanks so much for joining us, and here's to a much more tax-efficient year ahead for you and your business.